When the system collapses, the richest person won't be the one with gold. It'll be the one with this. What happens when a loaf of bread isn't a few dollars but 50? What do you do when the paper money in your wallet and the numbers in your bank account become completely worthless? This isn't some scene out of a dystopian movie. It's a historical reality that has happened over and over again, from post-war Germany to modern Venezuela. When the fragile systems we rely on finally break, the world doesn't end. It just changes. The rules of survival, wealth, and power get rewritten overnight. In that new world, gold and silver will have a place, sure, but they won't be what you use to get by day to day. You can't eat gold. You can't use silver to start a fire to keep your family warm. The real currency, the stuff that will be worth a fortune, is probably sitting in your house right now, totally overlooked. We're talking about the cheap, simple things that become the foundation of a new barter economy. For years, survival experts and historians have studied these exact kinds of collapses, and they've found clear patterns of what becomes valuable and what becomes useless. They've looked at the black markets in war-torn cities and the trade networks in communities hit by disaster. The lessons are always the same. Practicality crushes luxury, needs crush wants, and the person with the right stuff and the right know-how holds all the cards. Today, we're going to break down that hard-won knowledge. We're revealing the 7 cheap, everyday items that will be worth more than gold when the financial world crashes. These are things you can and should be stockpiling right now, quietly and affordably, building a real safety net that has nothing to do with banks or governments. But just having these items is only half the battle. The other half is knowing how to trade them without getting robbed, cheated, or worse. The barter economy is a brutal game with its own set of rules, where trust is rare and desperation is everywhere. That's why we're also laying out the 5 non-negotiable barter rules that will save your life. These aren't friendly suggestions. They're the laws of survival in a world without laws. Master them, and you can become a pillar of your community. Ignore them, and you become a target. This is your guide to the real currency of a post-collapse world. So pay attention, because this might be the most valuable investment you ever make. Alright, let's dive right in. Your post-collapse fortune won't be built on anything shiny, but it will be solid. It's going to be built on the small, consumable, and absolutely essential items we all take for granted. The things these items have in common are simple. They're cheap and easy to get now, but they'll become incredibly rare and hard to make when the factories and supply chains shut down. They solve a basic survival problem, and everybody understands their value. Let's get started. Fire. It's as primal as it gets. It cooks your food, purifies your water, gives you warmth, and pushes back the darkness. It's a beacon of civilization when the world feels like it's lost its mind. In a collapse, being able to make fire isn't a convenience. It's the razor-thin line between life and death. And history proves this time and time again. During the siege of Sarajevo in the 90s, a survivor named Selko said that disposable lighters were astronomically expensive and always in demand. In the markets of post-Wutti Berlin, fire starters were a premium item you could trade for almost anything. Why? Because when the power grid is dead and the trucks stop running, you can't just flick a switch on your stove. Every single flame has to be created from scratch. A simple Bic lighter, which you can get today for $1, gives you thousands of lights. They're tiny, light, and anyone can use one. A 10-pack of lighters costs less than lunch, but in a post-collapse world, a single one could be traded for a week's worth of food. People will give up almost anything for the certainty of a flame. Your strategy here should be layered. First, get bulk disposable lighters. Buy them by the carton. They're your main high-volume trade good. Second, Get waterproof matches in sealed containers. They're your reliable backup for when things get wet and miserable. Third, get ferro rods or flint and steel. They take a little more skill, but they last for thousands of strikes and don't care about water. They're your long-term, professional-grade tool. Think about it. For what you'd spend on a couple of pizzas, you can get a lifetime supply of one of the most powerful survival tools. You're not just buying lighters. You're buying warmth, hot meals, safe water, and one of the best barter items in history. Don't underestimate the power of fire. If fire solves your problem for today, seeds solve your problem for the long haul, food. When the grocery store shelves are empty, and they will be within 3 days of a major crisis, canned goods are just a temporary fix. But what happens when the cans run out? This is where the person with seeds becomes one of the most powerful people in town. Seeds are the future. They are the ultimate renewable resource. During the economic collapse in Venezuela, as the food system fell apart, the demand for seeds went through the roof. People weren't just looking for their next meal. They were desperate to grow their own. During the Great Depression, people studied seed catalogs like they were holy texts. And the math here is just insane. A single packet of heirloom tomato seeds might cost $3 today. That one packet can grow dozens of plants and produce hundreds of pounds of food. And because they're heirloom, you can save the seeds from the harvest to plant next year, and the year after that. It's an investment that literally feeds you forever. Compare that to a can of beans. You eat it, and it's gone. A packet of bean seeds can produce a constant supply for years. The world is already dealing with growing food insecurity. Demand for food is projected to climb dramatically by 2030, while our farmable land is shrinking. In a collapse, that slow-moving crisis becomes an immediate, deadly reality. Now, you have to be specific with your seed strategy. You need heirloom, open-pollinated, non-GMO seeds. This is non-negotiable. Hybrid seeds often create sterile plants, meaning you can't save the seeds for next season. You need varieties that breed true. Focus on high-calorie crops that are easy to grow where you live. Think beans, corn, squash, potatoes, and wheat. Don't forget fast-growing greens like lettuce and radishes, and definitely add some medicinal herbs like garlic and onions. Store your seeds in a cool, dark, dry place. Stored right, they can last for 5 to 10 years, sometimes even longer. For a tiny investment now, you're stockpiling the means of food production itself. You won't just feed your family, you'll have an item of incredible value to trade. You won't be trading for a meal, you'll be trading the power to create endless meals. All right, let's talk about something that makes some people uncomfortable, but ignoring it is just plain dangerous: ammunition. In any collapse, ammunition has consistently been one of the most stable and valuable commodities. It serves 3 key purposes: hunting for food, self-defense, and as a durable, high-value barter item. Look at the evidence. During the 2008 financial crisis, which was just a hiccup compared to a real collapse, ammo like the .22 caliber vanished from shelves overnight. Prices went insane. A box of .22 rounds that sold for $15 was suddenly being traded for hundreds. In post-World War II, Berlin and throughout the Venezuelan collapse, ammo held its value when paper money was just scrap paper. The reason is simple: there is no substitute for ammunition. For hunting, it turns a bullet into protein on the table. For defense, it's the ultimate equalizer, letting anyone protect their family and supplies. Because of these critical uses, everyone recognizes its value. Even people who don't own a gun. They know someone who does, and that person will need ammo. One of the smartest calibers to stockpile is the .22 long rifle. It's cheap now. You can store thousands of rounds in a small space and it has almost no recoil, so anyone can use it. It's perfect for hunting small game like rabbits and squirrels, which will be the most common food source in many areas. It's the most versatile round you can have in a survival situation. Besides the .22, common defense calibers like 9mm, 45 ACP, and shotgun shells will be in extremely high demand. Your best bet is to stock up on calibers for guns you own, but also to grab some of these other common types just for their trade value. Think of ammunition as a battery that stores power. It lasts for decades if you keep it cool and dry. A box of ammo is a compact, portable, and durable piece of wealth. While others are trying to trade bulky junk, you'll have a small, high-density item that can be traded for almost anything. It's a grim thought, but in a world turned upside down, the ability to hunt and defend is everything, and ammo is the fuel for both. Think about how much of your life would just stop without electricity. Your flashlight, your emergency radio, your kid's toy that keeps them calm, even critical medical devices like glucose monitors or hearing aids, all powered by one simple thing: a battery. In a world without a power grid, batteries are the new electricity. They're the lifeblood of every small device that makes life safer and more human. History proves it. During the siege of Sarajevo, batteries were one of the most expensive items on the black market. In any modern disaster, from a hurricane to a flood, batteries are one of the first things to vanish from store shelves. Our dependence on them is total, yet most people only have a few rolling around in a junk drawer. When the grid goes down for good, that tiny stash is gone in days. That's when the person with a stockpile becomes a powerhouse, literally. We've already seen a worldwide lithium shortage start to bite around 2025, which has driven up the price of batteries just as people need them most. The value is immediate. Imagine a world of total darkness once the sun goes down. A working flashlight isn't a luxury, it's a security tool. It lets you spot a threat before it gets to you. The family huddled in the dark with one precious candle will trade you almost anything for a set of AA batteries to power their lantern. Your strategy should be to focus on the most common sizes, AA and AAA. The huge majority of small electronics use them. You can buy them in bulk now for pennies per battery. While you're at it, grab a few high-quality solar chargers and a bunch of rechargeable batteries. That creates a sustainable power system that will serve you and others for years. And don't forget the weird ones, like the little coin batteries for key fobs and medical devices. Someone whose car is a useless hunk of metal because their key fob is dead will see a $5 battery as a priceless artifact. For a tiny investment now, you are stockpiling light, information, and security. In the dark age after a collapse, the person with the batteries is the one who brings the light. Salt is so basic to our world that it's baked right into our language. We call good people the salt of the earth. Roman soldiers were paid in it. That's where the word salary comes from. For thousands of years before refrigeration, salt was the key to survival because it was the only way to preserve food. In a collapse, history is going to hit repeat. When the power goes out for good, every refrigerator and freezer on the planet becomes a useless box. All that fresh meat is going to rot in days. Suddenly, the ancient skill of curing food with salt becomes a lifesaver, and salt itself becomes as valuable as the food it preserves. Its value is huge. First, food preservation. With salt, one good hunt can feed a family for months, not just a few days. It lets you store food through the winter. Second, you literally need it to live. Your body needs salt to function, especially when you're working hard and sweating. Third, it has tons of other uses. From cleaning wounds to making the boring food you'll be eating taste better. Salt is one of the greatest survival bargains of all time. You can buy a pound of it for $1 or $2. It never goes bad. Kept in a sealed container, it will outlast you. Its value-to-cost ratio is practically infinite. For your stockpile, get a few different kinds. Buy large bags of non-iodized salt, like canning or kosher salt, since that's best for preserving. But also keep a good supply of regular iodized table salt for your diet, because iodine deficiency is a real health risk in a long-term crisis. When the financial system is a joke and people are desperate to keep their food from spoiling, the person with a 50-pound bag of salt will be far richer than the person with a bag of rocks. You can't eat gold, but with salt, you can make sure you and your community eat for a long, long time. In every crisis throughout human history, alcohol has been an incredibly valuable commodity. I'm not talking about beer or wine. Their shelf life is too short. I'm talking about high-proof spirits. Vodka, whiskey, rum, gin. A sealed bottle of liquor, stored away from heat and sun, will last forever. Its value in a post-collapse world is huge and diverse. First, it's a massive morale booster. In a time of insane stress and fear, being able to relax and share a drink with a neighbor is a psychological lifeline. People will trade generously for that feeling. This was seen in post-2022 Berlin and Sarajevo, where alcohol was always a high-demand trade good. Second, it has critical medical uses. High-proof alcohol, we're talking 80 proof or higher, is a great disinfectant. You can use it to clean wounds, sterilize tools, or as an antiseptic when modern medical supplies are a distant memory. You can also use it as a solvent to make herbal tinctures. Third, in a dire emergency, it can be used as a crude painkiller. It's not ideal, obviously, but it's a hell of a lot better than nothing when there are no doctors. Finally, it's a universally desired luxury. Even people who don't drink know its value for trade. It's portable, durable, and comes in standard sizes, which makes it a fantastic barter item. Your strategy should be about getting the most bang for your buck. You don't need expensive brands. Cheap high-proof vodka is a perfect choice because it's versatile and has no color or odor, making it great for disinfection. Whiskey and rum are also excellent choices. And don't forget the little airplane-sized bottles. They are perfect for small trades where you don't want to open a full-sized bottle. Think of a bottle of whiskey not as a drink, but as a multi-tool. It's a bottle of morale, a bottle of disinfectant, and a bottle of liquid cash. Now for the most controversial item on this list. But if we're being ruthlessly pragmatic and just looking at the facts, no other single item has more consistently become a currency during a collapse than cigarettes. The historical evidence is undeniable. In post-Wabipfuend Berlin, the entire black market ran on American cigarettes. They weren't just a trade item, they were the currency. Prices for everything were listed in cigarettes. A carton of American cigarettes that cost $1 at an army store could sell on the black market for $200. The same thing happened during the siege of Sarajevo, where cigarettes were the king of all commodities. The reason is addiction. Nicotine is a powerful drug, and in a high-stress world, cravings only get stronger. When the supply chains break, smokers will run out fast. Their desperation creates a constant, predictable, and intense demand. People will trade food, medicine, anything for a single cigarette. Even if you hate smoking, you have to recognize the strategic value here. Tobacco is the perfect currency. It's lightweight, portable, and comes in standard units, packs, and single cigarettes that make small trades easy. A sealed carton stays fresh for years, and the value isn't just with smokers. Non-smokers will quickly learn that having cigarettes is like having cash. They'll trade for them just to use them to get other things they need. It becomes a universal medium of exchange. Your strategy is simple. Buy popular big-name brands. Store them in sealed cartons in a cool, dry place. You don't have to like it. You don't have to approve of it. You just have to understand that in the brutal math of a collapse, an addictive, desired consumable is king. For a small cost today, you can get what history has shown to be one of the most powerful forms of currency when all others have failed. We've just covered 7 simple items that could be your lifeline. This is crucial information, and I want as many people as possible to have it. If you're getting value out of this, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications. We go deep on survival strategy, and you don't want to miss what's next. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one item you would add to this list? What's the #1 overlooked item on your personal barter list? Drop it in the comments below. The knowledge we share in the comments is a huge resource for this whole community. Okay, let's get to the rules, because having the goods is useless if you don't know how to play the game. Having a stockpile of valuable stuff makes you a resource, but it also makes you a target. The post-collapse world will be full of desperate people, and desperation makes morality disappear. Bartering isn't like shopping. It's a dangerous dance of negotiation, psychology, and security. These next 5 rules aren't suggestions. They're laws. They were learned the hard way by people who survived when others didn't. Breaking even one could cost you everything. So internalize these, practice them in your head. They are every bit as important as the items in your stockpile. The first rule of any negotiation, whether it's in a corporate boardroom or a post-apocalyptic market, is to set the terms in your favor. Your first offer should always be way higher than what you're actually willing to accept. This isn't about being greedy. It's about strategy. Here's why it works. A good trade is one where both people walk away feeling like they got a decent deal. If you start with your rock-bottom price, the only way to go is down, which means you either take a loss or walk away. By starting high, you create room to negotiate. Let's say you have a water filter and you figure it's worth about 10 cans of food. You don't ask for 10 cans, you ask for 15, maybe even 18. They'll counter with a lower offer, say 7 or 8 cans. Now you have a conversation. You can act a little reluctant, haggle, and eventually settle on 12 cans. So what just happened? 1, you got more than your minimum price. And 2, just as important, your trading partner feels like they won. They successfully negotiated you down from your high starting price. This prevents them from feeling ripped off, which is dangerous. It builds your reputation as a tough but fair trader. This also signals that you're not naive or desperate. It shows you know how the new world works. Desperate people are targets. Smart traders are respected. Never show your whole hand at the start. Start high and let the dance begin. This is probably the single most important security rule in all of bartering. Listen up. Your home is your sanctuary. It's where your family sleeps. It's where your main stockpile is. The dumbest thing you can possibly do is lead a stranger right to it. Trading from your home destroys your security. First, it tells them where you live. Now you are permanently on their map. If they think you have more stuff, and they always will, your home is now a target for a future robbery. And it's not just the person you're trading with you have to worry about. Who are they going to tell? Who's watching them? You've just painted a giant bullseye on your own front door. Second, it shows them what you have. Even if you only bring out one thing, they're looking around. They're sizing up your security, they can hear your kids, they can smell food cooking. They are gathering intel on you, assessing your strengths and weaknesses. A Reddit comment from someone familiar with survivor stories from the Balkan War said it best. Don't be the person everyone knows has stuff, because eventually, a stronger group will just come and take it all. The only way to do this is to set up neutral trading spots. An abandoned parking lot, a spot in a park, a formal market if one pops up, anywhere but your home. And you need to vary the locations and times. Never be predictable. When you go to a trade, you bring only the item you're trading. Your full inventory stays a secret, locked up tight at home. This was a key practice in the markets of post-Wamtai Berlin. Trade happened in public, neutral spaces. Your home is your castle. Protect its location as fiercely as you protect your own life. This goes hand in hand with rule number 2. Just like you never reveal your location, you never reveal how much stuff you have. The second you do, you lose all your negotiating power and you mark yourself as a major target. Think about it. If your trading partner knows you have 100 water filters, why would they give you a good price for one? They know you have plenty. They can lowball you all day. But if they think this is your last water filter, its value shoots through the roof. Now you're negotiating from a position of strength. Revealing your stockpile also brings a ton of unwanted social pressure. If word gets out that you have a basement full of food, you're no longer a trader. You're the solution to everyone else's problems. People won't come to trade. They'll come for handouts. And when you say no, their desperation can turn to anger. You'll be called a hoarder, and in a world on the edge, that label can get you killed. You want to be known as a guy who can get things sometimes, not the guy who has everything. The best strategy is to be the gray man, be forgettable. When you trade, you bring just enough for that one deal. If someone asks what else you've got, the answer is always vague. I might be able to get some batteries next week, I'll have to check. You're the middleman, the broker, never the source. Even if your source is a bucket in your basement, nobody else needs to know that. Your true level of preparedness is your most important secret. Never give it away. Trading alone is just asking for disaster. A one-on-one trade means no witnesses and no backup. It makes you a prime target to get robbed or assaulted. The rule is simple and absolute. Never go to a trade alone. Always bring a trusted partner. Your partner has several jobs. The most obvious one is security. 2 people are a much harder target than 1. While you're focused on the deal, looking at the items, talking price, your partner's job is to watch your back. They are your surveillance. They're watching the other person's hands and body language, but more importantly, they're watching the area. Is anyone else watching you? Is someone approaching? Their only job is security. The second job is as a second opinion. It's easy to get caught up in a negotiation. Your partner is a clear head. They can check the goods and give you a quiet signal if the deal feels bad or the situation feels off. This also lets you use a good cop, bad cop strategy, which can be a powerful negotiating tool. Third, your partner is a witness. If there's a disagreement later, you have someone who can back up what was agreed on. In a world with no legal system, your reputation is everything. A witness protects it. Of course, you need to choose this partner carefully. It has to be someone you trust with your life. A spouse, a family member, a vetted friend. And before you ever trade, you need to set clear roles and signals. Who talks? Who watches? What's the signal for "we're leaving now, no questions asked"? Going it alone is a rookie mistake, and it's often a fatal one. Don't make it. This last rule is all about instinct, and it's what separates the survivors from the victims. You can have all the right gear and follow all the rules, but if you can't judge the person in front of you, you're flying blind. Reading the room means paying attention and learning to judge character, desperation, and intent. Your intuition is your best defense. The assessment starts before you even meet. What's this person's reputation? Have you dealt with them before? A trader known for being fair is a green flag. Someone known for being shady or aggressive is a massive red flag. During the trade, you're a detective. Watch their behavior. Are they calm or are they aggressive and trying to rush you? Rushing is a tactic to make you miss things. Look for inconsistencies. Are they desperate? A desperate person might give you a good price, but they're also unpredictable and dangerous. And finally, there's your gut. Humans have a primal sense of danger. It's that feeling in your stomach that tells you something is wrong. Never ignore that feeling. It's your subconscious screaming at you that it has noticed thousands of tiny cues you haven't. If a situation feels wrong, it is wrong. Walk away. No trade is worth your life. It is always better to walk away from a good deal that feels wrong than to go through with a deal that ends in disaster. Over time, you can build a small network of trusted trading partners. Start with small, low-risk trades to test people out. But for everyone else, stay vigilant and trust your gut above all else. This isn't paranoia, it's professional-grade survival. We've looked at the hard reality of a world after an economic collapse, where value isn't decided by banks, but by immediate practical need. We've identified the 7 humble items that become the new gold: fire starters, seeds, ammunition, batteries, salt, alcohol, and cigarettes. These are the cheap items you can get today that will give you real power tomorrow. They are your insurance policy against total failure. But more important than any of these items is knowing the rules of the game. The 5 barter rules are your shield. Start high to control the deal. Never trade from home to protect your family. Never reveal your full inventory to keep your advantage. Always bring a partner for security. And read the room and trust your gut, because your intuition is your best defense. The future is uncertain and the systems we trust are more fragile than we think. But being prepared is about taking control. It's about turning anxiety into action. By stocking the right items and mastering the rules of trade, you're not just preparing to survive. You're preparing to be a pillar of strength for your community. The time to prepare isn't when the crisis is hammering on your door. The time is now. While these items are still cheap and this knowledge is free, take this information, act on it, and build your resilience. When the system fails, it won't be the smartest who survive. It'll be the most prepared. Decide now which one you'll be. Thanks for investing your time with us. If this guide was helpful, remember to like, subscribe, and share it. Stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next video.